Great, and I'm just seeing we're getting people register and logging in now. Welcome everyone. Just give it another moment. Excellent. Hi everyone and welcome. Okay, let's begin. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome and joining us today for Dreams and Learning Opportunities, a journey into software development. We're delighted to be running this event online as part of Leeds Digital Festival, so thank you all for joining. In a moment, I'm going to be handing over to our guest speaker, but before I do, just some housekeeping. If you've got any questions for our speaker, then please pop them over via the chat box throughout the talk, and Anita will answer them at the end of the session. We are recording this session, so if you do want to catch up on the session again, then you can. This will be emailed over after if you've registered for the event. And so now I'm going to hand over to Anita to begin the talk. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Adele. So my name is Anita Dreosti. And with diversity and inclusion being a current topic, I wanted to highlight that not everyone in software development arena has had the ability to study at university. So some have had to work really hard to enter this industry, something that I can relate to. And this is a bit about my journey into software development. And my wish is that I'm able to inspire others who are struggling with their journey. So this is me, happy. Yeah, I grew up in South Africa on a small holding and went to a farm school. It wasn't anything fancy, but it did allow me to daydream about adventuring to faraway destinations. And dreams and learning opportunities, this is the story about my journey into software development. So knowing that I wanted to travel, I searched for a career that would be portable and could travel along with my adventures. Computer programming appealed to me, and this also appealed to my father. If you are not going to become a doctor or a lawyer, then computer programming is the next best dream option for your child. So when I applied for my courses at university, they required prior experience in computing, and this is around the early 1990s, something which farm schools were not offering at the time. If you did not have computer skills, then you needed to have exceptional grades, something which I did not have at that time. So I chose some other subjects for the year and made another plan to figure things out at a later date. A few years later, I landed up in the UK and started attempting my dream for developing computer software skills. Up until now, I had kept myself busy working in restaurants, au pairing, and as a carer. But none of these appealed to me as a long-term career path. I was about 21 and my parents had sold all their worldly possessions and settled sailing for the Caribbean in a 34-foot boat, a yacht. So that's another whole different story about how to get your children to leave home. You buy them a one-way ticket overseas and then you sell up and set sail. Very good way of introducing your children into the big wide world. Anyway, I'm digressing here. I landed in England and was looking into opportunities and options for further study in computers. I found Middlesex University and was really excited when they accepted my application. However, there were conditions. I would have to complete a fundamental computing course before starting this one. So that entailed a whole extra year. I pondered this and concluded without the support structure around me, so no family or people I could rely on, and financial constraints, this was not going to be a viable option. So again, I deferred. When my family did make it to a destination and made contact, jumped at the opportunity to visit them in the Caribbean. And of course, I got distracted and enjoyed the sun and the surf. And I met my husband in Tobago. And the two of us lived and worked on charter boats in the Caribbean for the next 6 years. So you can imagine it was a fantastic adventure. I mean, who would not want to have that kind of adventure? Now, during that time, I had not forgotten about my dream, but I did have fun waiting for the next opportunity to attempt this career move. Found a correspondence course that gave me an introduction to digital design. I loved it. I also encountered laptop support and bad customer service while living on a boat. I don't think they quite understood my frustration of working on a satellite phone and the costs involved to fix technical problems. I realized to make this work, we needed to have a more reliable internet connection. We moved to California and I enrolled with a local college called Chabot College. I loved the courses I took. I loved the ability to work towards my dream. Unfortunately, this dream was cut short when after the first semester we had to leave and relocate back to South Africa. It was quite a blow for me, as once again I had to defer my dreams. After settling down in South Africa and doing some research, I found a college that would get me on the road to success. This was mainly a digital design course with some coding thrown in, and that was to get you started. I loved it. I made some good friends, won some awards, and built up enough confidence that I felt like I could start my career. And this is when frazzled moments start beginning. I thought it would be smooth sailing, pun intended, after finishing my course. I started my own company to service small to medium-sized companies, offering them their full digital requirements, introducing them to the powers of having a web presence. My husband and I would meet with potential clients and he would convince them that I could do anything. Half the time I was thinking, how on earth do I go about developing what he's just promised? I learned fast and researched a lot. I was gaining skills fast and furious. Along with new tech skills, I was learning new business skills about tech sizing, quoting, and drafting up contracts. I was pushed outside my comfort zone on numerous occasions, but I always managed to find a way to deliver what the client wanted. Along with designing websites, I created some custom content management systems, authentication for logins, created animated games for driver's license testing, as well as auto-start CD-ROMs. Do you remember the old auto-start CD-ROMs? So created those with user interaction presentations. What fun. It was amazing. I really enjoyed doing that. And then 9 years ago, we moved to England. I had to find my footing here, not only in culture and grocery store layout, but also in tech. Learning new terminology like bespoke. I had to look it up in the dictionary. That actually means another word for unique. I enjoyed cutting my teeth on projects from online marketplaces to market research. Learning new technology like XSL, Java, Lotus, jQuery, NoSQL, Backbone, and Angular, to name a few. Again, brand new learning curve, pushing more boundaries. So some of the things I was required to do was build an HTML form, but layering it for extra security using XML and XSL. Was quite a tough one for me. Then also build an album sorter that orders the photographs according to blurriness in Java, but I've not ever used Java before. And then another one is build fantasy football games, single-page application games that are responsive and work natively on all mobile devices. I first had to find out what a fantasy football game was. But along with all of that came amazing learning opportunities. So I learned all the ins and outs of security and the importance thereof. I learned about memory leaks and how to trace these, and the framework as an effective building tool, Backbone and Angular. One day, walking in London along the Thames, I remember looking up at the big glass buildings overlooking the river, and I said, wonder what it must be like to work in an office like that. Made a mental note about that and carried on being a tourist for the day. So you can imagine someone who grew up on a farm and got to see the scenery, and as you're walking along, looking up at these beautiful big buildings, and you wonder what it must feel like to work in this office space. I didn't have to wait too long, and I was invited to interview with Banquet. So not knowing where they were, booked an interview in London and exited Liverpool Street Station and made my way to the office. My eyes nearly fell out when I entered the interview room and saw the view. There was the Thames, and this was a glass building overlooking the river. I was floored. What an amazing view. But not only that, I loved the people that interviewed me. The energy and excitement for the project was infectious. Needless to say, when I got the invite to join them, I jumped for joy. I thought this was an amazing opportunity. I was so elated. And of course, the learning curve does not stop there. I have learned to embrace these anxious moments or these frazzling moments. They are an indicator that I'm encountering a learning opportunity and I'm going to improve my skills as a software developer. So, yeah, learning to embrace these moments. I always tell you that you are going to increase your knowledge and become a better software engineer. The project that I joined makes use of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. This is new technology for me, but I could see that there was a lack of resource in this area. So when my line manager at the time was offering a course to gain these skills, I volunteered to join. Along with that, there were many other opportunities. For instance, when a change in FCA affordability requirements came along, I was moved to another team to assist with these changes. To assist with the changes, I learned ASP.NET MVC. I also learned about Umbrico as a content management system. When resources were spread thin, I learned about Mongo databasing. I learned about in-service bus messaging system. Started learning C# and Studio 3T, Octopus deployment. And of course, new projects always bring new learning opportunities. In my time at Vanquis, I've managed to gain a lot of new skills. I've enjoyed the process, learning things like source tree, Azure Message Bus, Azure Cosmos Databasing, Terraform, Azure Functions, Application Insights, Azure Key Vault, Azure DevOps, Docker, Kubernetes. These are just some of them. It's not all of them. And that's quite a lot of growing and developing. As you can imagine, with all of that, you are presented with lots of learning opportunities, lots of opportunities to improve your skills. So what have I gained from all of this? I gained a fantastic ability to adapt. I'm quite comfortable venturing into the unknown. In fact, I'm quite excited. I know that this will be a learning opportunity. There is never a time when you stop and say, that's it. I know all there is to know. There is always more to learn. With any learning opportunity, there is always someone ready and willing to help you. Great way to develop good bonds with fellow developers. I would never have managed without the help from my friends. I can leave you with some words of advice. Be grateful for these learning opportunities. This means there is progression, a forward motion. Embrace the challenges that make you a more rounded developer with a great depth of knowledge and resource. Allow the new learnings to expand your horizons. Not every path is straightforward and beautifully paved. Some take more effort, but are so worth it. And currently, Banquet is hiring and looking for enthusiastic opportunity seekers. We have opportunities for principal software engineers, cloud engineers, test engineers, data engineers. And if you are looking for further information, there is a website that you can go to, banquetcareers.co.uk, and that will give you all the opportunities available and give you further information as to what these opportunities are and assist you in that sense. So thank you very much for joining me today and listening to my career path into Banquet and the enjoyable learning opportunities I've experienced along the way. If any of you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you now.
Thank you, Anita, for those insights and for sharing your journey. We're going to go over to questions. I think you've had some come through directly via the chat box. So if you want to take a look, and as you mentioned, if anyone has any further questions, please do pop them over.
Okay, so I can see first question is, how do you upskill yourself and stay on the top of the latest tools and technology? So that's a really good question. Within Vanquis, we have the opportunity to develop our skills. It is quite encouraged within the business to further develop your skills and have that ability to do those learning opportunities that are so valuable for developers. And there is a budget that allows us to go on learning opportunities. If there's something new and unique that you want to gain those skills and that technology, they will make available that opportunity, as well as there is numerous self-learning capabilities that you have. You've got places like Udemy and Pluralsight. Within Banquet, Pluralsight is made available to all the engineers within the business. So there's lots of opportunities to further improve your skills and learn new technology. And then we've got some more here. What is the recruitment process like at Banquet? So currently the recruitment process is a 3-stage process. You have a conversation with HR and they'll explain what the role entails and whether this is an opportunity that you want to pursue and take further. Then you have a first stage technical interview where we see if the skills that you have match with what we need within the business. Then a second stage technical interview where we assess your ability to problem solve. And after that, if we are both matched, if you like what you experience with us and we see potential in you joining us, then it will go through to an offer experience. Okay. And just the chat is quite small, so I'm just having a look through. The next question is, what advice do you have for a complete novice to begin programming? That comes from David. Thanks for that question, David. I'd say when you're a complete novice, you benefit from starting somewhere. So if you start with the course, first perhaps decide what avenue of development you want to go into. You've got plenty of different avenues. If you want to be more database driven, if you want to be front end or back end or platform engineer or cloud engineer, maybe make a decision as to what you think might appeal to you. And then start a course. There are numerous available opportunities on YouTube, Udemy, Pluralsight. Have a look on the internet, do that course, complete it, and see what aspects of it you really enjoy. And from that point, you can continue and expand your expertise in that arena. As a student, how do I make sure I'm getting all the skills employees are looking for? What skills are bankers looking for specifically for software engineer roles? So that's a really good question. That comes from Noor Yahan, I think. So in terms of knowing what employees are looking for, I would say if you have a look at roles that are being advertised, inside there it will give you lists of what particular companies are looking for. And if you have that ability to look at several roles, you'll see the trending skills that companies are needing and requiring. So it changes quite quickly and quite regularly. Have a look at, in particular, any companies that you might be interested in, and accessing that recruiting notes of what they are looking for, and then see if that matches up with what you have. If you are missing some of those skills, I'd suggest that you go and do a bit of research into that skill, because not all of the things they advertise are new skills that you need to develop. Some of them are just wording them in a different way, but you're unfamiliar with that terminology. So have a look at that. Currently within Banquet, what we require are more C#, Microsoft technology type skills, and Azure-based cloud technology skills. So if you have that, by all means, have a look on our job board, our Banquet careers, and see if that appeals to you. And please, send us a note, send us an email. We're always willing and happy to look at people's opportunities if they feel like it might be something that they want to enjoy with us. Please get in touch with us. And I think that's the end of the questions.
Great, Anita, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing your journey and story with us. And thank you to everyone that was able to attend the session live. And as I mentioned, we will be making these slides available after and we'll share that with you on email. So thank you everyone for joining, and have the great rest of your day. Thanks all.